as we wake up to an amazing match yesterday.
And I had predicted this very thing that there is going to be an Alcaraz Djokovic final, and Alcaraz has a better chance.
They were not clear whom to support. This was my initial feeling. But once that first set went one-sided, then they wanted their money's worth. So then the way they got behind Alcaraz was really worth seeing. I personally feel Djokovic basically lost the plot in the middle of the third set. And Alcaraz did the same favor back to him in the fourth set when Djokovic went for his famous bathroom break.
Welcome to the new episode of Tennis Bytes, and we have a new face today. A friend, a fan, a former tennis player. And obviously you had done something in the officiating capacity as well, right, Shriram?
Okay, hi guys. Thanks Bhushan. Thanks Aadish. I'm mainly a tennis aficionado now. I don't play tennis I don't claim to play tennis at any professional level. But yes, I played tennis as an ITA kid, and I am a certified ITF line umpire. So I have umpired the Fed Cup in Dubai and a few matches of the DDFT, Dubai 500. That's my claim to fame as far as tennis goes.
That's quite something just to pursue your passion for tennis.
Exactly.
But as we wake up to an amazing match yesterday, I just wanted to know what was going in your mind and obviously throughout the match. So just have that raw feeling I just want to get from both.
Okay, first of all, let me start. Okay, so we have done a video 8 days ago, and I had predicted this very thing that there is going to be an Alcaraz Djokovic final, and Alcaraz has a better chance of defeating Djokovic.
Yeah.
We never explicitly said that Alcaraz is going to win, but we did weigh in, and we were quite close to actually saying that Alcaraz is going to win.
Yeah.
So first of all, kudos to me and us. So I'm very proud. And that was actually the main reason I was supporting Alcaraz yesterday, because I don't have any hard feelings against Djokovic. But yeah, the match was just incredible. I mean, I don't remember watching a match of this quality in the recent past, or the past couple of years, maybe even after COVID. I would say that this is the best final that we have witnessed.
Yeah, Shriram was very active on some of the conversations in our private groups. You want to really expand on that?
I'll just say that it was one of the best evenings spent following a tennis match yesterday.
Yeah.
Simply because the game was completely topsy-turvy. And actually, as Aadish said that he predicted correctly, but after the first set, no, I thought everything was gone. It looked like a whitewash.
Yeah.
The first set was a complete copy of what happened between the Sinner and Djoko match. Sinner had a break point in the first game. Alcaraz also had a break point in the first game. And then the set ran away. And the same thing happened in the final. So when that first set went, we thought this is gone. This ship has sunk. But thankfully,
Exactly.
Alcaraz was able to bring his mind back into the game, and from the second set, things turned slowly but surely. But the level of the game was really high level. That was the best part.
I remember, I think Todd Woodbridge on commentary, after first 4 games, he was mentioning a horror show from the perspective of Alcaraz. And even I thought so. After watching a couple of games, I was like, oh my God, this is going the Sinner match kind of a way. And maybe what people would feel. Eventually, I thought the crowd started supporting Alcaraz just because they wanted the match to progress beyond maybe 3 sets.
If you notice, even Alcaraz said in his post-match interview that after the first set, he said to himself, come on, the people have paid money to come and see this. And each set was like a Bollywood movie, no? What do you think?
Yeah. And great faith in the coaches. Probably Aadish loves Juan Carlos Ferrero too much, and he had bet on Alcaraz primarily because of his coach, I guess.
Yeah, he was my favorite clay courter during his era, his time, and I just used to love watching him play. And it was actually sad the way Ferrero disappeared from the tour. He had a couple of injuries, and then suddenly it was just Rafael Nadal everybody was talking about when it came to the clay court. But it was so great to see Ferrero in Alcaraz's box, and I really think that a player who has won the Grand Slam, and quite recently for a coach, I would say, it's been only 20 years since Ferrero won the Grand Slam. and he has played against the likes of Rafa, Novak. So obviously, I think that does give him an advantage over other coaches, probably having seen or played Novak. And yeah, actually, I really thought that after French Open, he would definitely, him and Alcaraz and the entire team would have some plan for sure. It was not going to be another fiasco like Roland Garros, because uh, you really have access to pretty much each and every match of Djokovic, right? You can analyze his game from every aspect. So I was pretty sure that they would have a plan. Of course, I don't think they whether they got to execute that, or what happened. But yeah, I was sure that this is going to be a good match, not like French Open.
But I think let me ask you then a follow-up question. When both of you, maybe Aadish first, when did you really start to believe that Alcaraz is going to turn this?
Uh, to be honest, the first game of the second set, I started to, uh, I won't say believe that Alcaraz can win this, but I started to understand that Alcaraz is slowly getting into the game, because the first set just like vanished. Like in 5 minutes, the set was over. Because I remember I was doing something, and before I knew it, Djokovic was serving for the set or something like that. So, but
Yeah.
the first game of the second set, you started to get a sense that it is not just going to continue like this. Alcaraz will fight back. He will do something. Of course, we didn't think this is going to happen. But to answer your question in a more specific manner, when the second set went into the tiebreak, at that moment I felt that it is make or break for Alcaraz, because everything was in Novak's favor. He had not lost a tiebreak since French Open. If he had won the tiebreak, he would have been 2 sets to love. And making a comeback against Djokovic from love to is impossible. We all know that. So it was make or break for Alcaraz, and I somehow feel that Djokovic kind of choked in the tiebreak, which is very rare. But choke maybe is a strong word, but yeah, he underperformed for sure.
Yeah. So when did you feel, Shriram, the tables turned yesterday?
So I was listening to Adish. I'll just share one interesting point which both of you would have noticed. In the second set, actually Alcaraz started playing well, yes, but Alcaraz was still underserving. His first serve percentage was down throughout the whole match. In the tiebreak, the tides turned. So the two major turning points in this match are the second set tiebreak. He was down love three. He lost his first service point. Joko won the next two service point, three love down. From there, the comeback which Alcaraz made, that was a big turning point. And as Adi said, there were two backhands which Djokovic missed. Simple, not simple, but straightforward backhands, which he normally makes. So those were a key turning point. And the second biggest turning point was that game in the third set, the 3-1 game
Yeah.
which went for 26 minutes, 13 deuces. That actually broke Djokovic's back mentally.
But
And
should
from
he
then,
have,
the tide had turned.
no, should he have maybe taken it easy at that time? Maybe just to conserve energy?
I personally feel Djokovic basically lost the plot in the middle of the third set. He started serving a bit slower, if you notice. So Alcaraz had got into his mind by then. And Alcaraz did the same favor back to him in the fourth set when Djokovic went for his famous bathroom break.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Alcaraz
I
did learn from the
recollect.
previous
pretty much
Roland Garros.
everybody knew that he's going to take a toilet break after he lost the third set. Everybody knew.
Yeah, I
And after
remember
that toilet
Aadish.
break, Alcaraz still lost his serve again.
But on a serious note, I mean, around the rules, I just wanted to bring this point up. Uh, when it comes to the specific seconds rule for the first serve and all that, when you have played such a long game or even such a long point, should you have an exception to that rule? Because it seems to hurt Djokovic all the time. And although it might be valid to some extent, but I really feel sad that this keeps happening and there is no exception to that.
Yeah, I don't have much of an opinion on it, because honestly, I feel the rules should be followed, and somebody who has played 23, who has won 23 Grand Slams, should come to terms with it by now. He should not be facing this problem time and again now, because he has been on the tour for what, 20 years now, 15, 16 years now. So yeah, he has played 70 Grand
Yeah.
Slams. He has played 35 Grand Slam finals now. So yeah, so I think
Finals. Yeah.
by now he should know how to deal with it. I mean, if the rules are meant to be followed, if the rules are meant to be strictly followed, then a player like Djokovic should know his way around that.
And just think of it this way. Just think of it this way. It's Wimbledon. You're not playing in Sahara. You're not playing in Africa. You're playing in England. It's not very hot. It's not so humid. So it's not taxing on the body. So why do you, and you've been given 30 seconds. The shot clock starts. 30 seconds are given to you. So 30 seconds is enough to regroup, honestly speaking.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it's the Brits who have made all those rules. So they're definitely not going to break them at Wimbledon.
Yeah.
Even the
Yeah.
bathroom break rule was very touch and go. I think it's 7 minutes,
Mhm.
right?
I
He came
I
back just 6
Not
minutes,
sure.
58 seconds.
Yeah, I think it is
Uh,
5 minutes plus 2 minutes. So yeah,
Wait.
okay.
So he came
Yeah.
dot 6:58. He popped his nose out.
yeah.
Somebody has put a stopwatch, and I think Djokovic intends to at least try and take it to zero almost all the time.
And I get a feeling Djokovic was playing with Alcaraz's mind again. He was trying to do that
Yeah.
because Alcaraz this
But
time he was ready and he was trying to move around and keep his body, warmed up. But Djokovic made him wait even after he came.
It actually reminded me a lot of how Federer used to wait for his opponent. Every match I've seen of Federer used to be on the court like way before time, and he used to just wait for Nadal to come, on the court. That reminded me a lot of Roger because Alcaraz was on the court for a good 2-3 minutes, warming up, doing something,
yeah.
waiting for Djokovic.
Right. So I
But
think let's
just one point. Just one point.
yeah.
Since you mentioned this, whether it is legal or not, I think the decision should be taken by the umpire, chair umpire, right? So this is also a point which should come up for discussion. I feel if the chair umpire sees that there is time wasting going on, whether it is world number one, world number two, whether it is Djokovic, anybody X Y Z, I think he should just go by the book. At 30 seconds, he should just say warning, time violation.
Yeah. Right. I think the pressure with the crowd, overall pressure also is a factor that must be affecting the referees. It's not that easy in the
Correct,
finals.
correct.
But yeah, I just wanted
But
to
I'm saying
maybe
this as a Federer fan. Huh? I would have loved if the referee had needed Djokovic
No,
to
but
win. I would have loved it.
this is so strange coming from a line officiate, whatever line official. Yeah, authorized ITF line official. This is so strange coming from.
I'm retired.
but so
No,
Shriram, I
actually,
think
you're right.
let's
It should be neutral.
uh,
You're right.
no, I just wanted your opinion on then what are some of the key takeaways from this, especially from an Alcaraz standpoint.
From an Alcaraz viewpoint, there are three main things. Alcaraz had to prove that he is world number one. In the rankings, he is world number one. So if you want to prove yourself as world number one, you have to beat the person in front of you. Otherwise, kahe ka world number one. So I think he proved more to himself than to anybody else that he is there, he belongs. And it was clear that once he got his serving right, his level was way above Djokovic's. Once Alcaraz got his first serve percentages higher, he was actually dominating Djokovic inside out. Djokovic had 50% less winners than Alcaraz in the whole match summary, if you see. So it is clear who was the more
Yeah.
attacking and piercing player. It was clear. And the third takeaway, I feel, which is most important for Alcaraz, is he understood now that to win Grand Slams on a consistent basis, you cannot afford to have these ups and downs.
Yeah.
You will have to find that
Yes,
80%,
yes.
90% level and maintain it for long periods. I think these are the three
Yeah.
main things because he is mentally tough. It's not as if he's not mentally tough. The guy is playing phenomenally. It's only about these small things of keeping your focus on court. And he has to be smart to Djokovic's
But,
strikes.
but only for
That is
another
important.
year, maybe, not for long.
Yeah. You never know. I am not too confident about the other next gen guys, but that will be a separate episode, I guess.
Bhushan, we'll ask you this question. You answer it. Seeing Alcaraz's performance, do you think Djokovic will retire? What do you think?
No, I think he will relish maybe at least the next tournament, US Open, and then maybe a revenge because Djokovic is that kind of person who will try to
If,
fix up
if
certain
he is allowed
problems.
into the US, then maybe he'll
if he's
retire.
allowed.
That's a valid point. That's a valid point.
But I think they're going to because it seems they were saying something now that August they will change the rules. So apparently, even if you don't have a vaccine, you will be allowed.
Yeah.
When is
Yeah.
the US Open? It's in August end, no?
Yeah, it's August and September. So I think, yeah, by then Djokovic will be allowed. So that won't be an issue. But yeah, I think talking about the next gen, I think pretty much we're talking about, if we're talking about Sinner and Rune, I think they need to up their game now, because you have to at least make it to the final one or two times to be called as the next big three or the next gen players. Alcaraz is the only one who has been doing that consistently. Rune has made a huge name for himself. He defeated Djokovic twice, but beyond that, even on the thousand masters, he didn't win one actually. So I think both of them need to up their game a bit. They have the game, of course. The media isn't saying this just to take three names. Like, it's not like they're choosing three names randomly. So they have the quality, but I think Alcaraz has matured, peaked, whatever, a lot earlier than the other two guys.
Yeah, yeah, and also seems like it's a repeat of matches, right, with Djokovic. Even Sinner's match was, I think, very ordinary. Rude, we thought will perform, but I think he went out quite early as compared to his French Open performance. Probably is kind of baseliner. But yeah, any final thoughts on the takeaways for Djokovic?
Takeaway for Djokovic. I think the biggest takeaway for Djokovic is he will come down to the earth. He was floating in the clouds a bit. So he'll come down to earth and he will understand that there is serious competition. And he's a genuine competitor, so I'm sure he'll also go back to the blackboard and sit with his team and try and find out other things he can do to try and win matches easier. One thing is clear: bathroom breaks won't work in the future. So not against Alcaraz at least. Hopefully, I think Alcaraz
Yeah.
has learned the lesson. But for Djokovic, the main thing is he has to learn to shorten the points. Djokovic cannot hang with Alcaraz or with the younger guys too much from the back. So this is a
Yeah.
big takeaway, I think, for Djokovic.
What did you think about the crowd support or the involvement of the crowd during the finals?
My personal opinion was that the crowd initially they were not clear whom to support. This was my initial feeling. But once that first set went one-sided, then they wanted their money's worth. So then the way they got behind Alcaraz was really worth seeing. And from then on, it
Yeah.
was clear. It was clearly one-sided support for Alcaraz. And I think they liked the underdog story also a little bit.
Yeah, especially when the underdog is against Djokovic. Aadish?
Yes, actually, irrespective of everything, we know that Djokovic isn't exactly the ideal athlete when we compare him to Federer and Nadal. But I think even then, I think there is some sort of bias against him from the media, from the crowd, and everything. And we actually even saw that yesterday when the entire crowd got behind Alcaraz. So I'm not exactly sure if it is so nice to see the crowd supporting only one guy thoroughly, and he was not a Briton, so
Yeah.
it's not like there was home support or anything like that. But I think even that worked in Djokovic's favor as well, right? He likes it when everybody's against him.
Yeah.
So I think both of them got what they wanted.
I think
Uh,
even the celebrity and the royals were supporting Alcaraz yesterday. It was not just the crowd, even the specific people in the crowd. It seemed they were happier when Alcaraz was winning the point.
yeah, but it was a lot of star power yesterday. Na? I particularly liked Daniel Craig. So he was looking so cool. Yeah, Daniel Craig, even Brad Pitt, all these guys. It was an amazing atmosphere. A lot of celebrities at the stadium.
Yeah, somebody joked, right? Because there are two royal families in the stadium. That is why James Bond is there to protect them.
Right, right. And we can never forget the celebrity status Roger got when he was welcomed.
Actually, just let me weigh in there. Actually, this year's entry or whatever, the applause, the love that he got from the people was a lot very different from what he got last year. But I think both the appearances were incredible. As a Federer fan, it's just amazing to see him on the center court.
Yeah.
And
And
and one more thing is that I'm very glad that Djokovic has not equaled both of Federer's records.
yeah.
So apart from everything else, Federer's
So
Which is the other
record,
one? The
Uh,
eight
fi-
Wimbledons is one. Which is the other one?
five in a row.
Fine.
Federer and
Oh,
Borg. Yeah.
correct,
So,
correct.
But talking about
so
that, I think Djokovic addressed the elephant in the room in his speech. What would he say, Shriram?
I think Djokovic tried to control himself and present his best face in the speech. But hats off to him, he was effusive in his praise about Alcaraz, which is important. And he was less focused on his own game in the post-match analysis. So there is an improvement in Djokovic for sure, I would say. He was not as self-obsessed as he used to be before.
Yeah.
Djokovic is not as bad as you make him to be.
But
I think somebody who has won 23 Grand Slams is allowed to be a little self-obsessed.
yeah.
True. Yeah, but the refreshing thing was how Alcaraz spoke. The way he spoke to the king, he spoke on first time basis.
Yeah.
Did you hear the way he addressed the king of Spain? It was
No.
first time basis.
Yeah.
He didn't say your lordship or he didn't say your highness.
Right. Right.
And the way Alcaraz speaks is very open. It's uncomplicated. It doesn't seem that he's thinking too much.
Yeah.
What is there in the heart is there in the tongue. That's it.
Yeah. And for a 20-year-old, I think speaking at that moment also is a big deal. And he must be having some nerves. Yeah. Not equivalent to playing though. But cool. I think I like the embrace and I like the warmth with which both these guys did their final speeches. So, a final word on this. How does Alcaraz then look at the future? With US Open coming, he has to defend that title, and obviously a whole lot with an immense potential and a big season, and obviously many years ahead. How does he think now? Where does he go from?
I think Alcaraz is for sure now the man to beat. Up until French Open, the talk was that he hasn't played Djokovic a lot. He had not played Djokovic at all before then. So the US Open that Alcaraz won had some flaws in it. Nadal was injured. Djokovic was, of course, not allowed. Federer had just retired. So I think with this Wimbledon, he has to, like literally proved himself that he is here to stay. He is the next generation, whatever supremo or whatever that may be. And I think now he is the man to beat, considering the fact that he is the defending US Open champion. So that is first thing. Second thing is that Djokovic does have a real challenger, at least as long as Djokovic is playing at his peak. We don't know how long he'll be able to play at this level. But yeah, that is number two. And the third is, I really had a lot of hopes from Rune and Sinner. And unfortunately, they are not living up to it as of now. So let's just hope that they give Alcaraz some fight. Otherwise, it won't exactly be entertaining.
Yeah, fair enough. Any final thoughts, Shriram?
Interesting. I was listening to what Aadish is saying. I have a slightly unique view on this. Alcaraz, of course, world number one, winner of Wimbledon, outright favorite, no doubt. But seeing his victory, as we discussed before, now other guys like Rune, Sinner, Felix Auger-Aliassime, don't forget him. He plays very well in America. Then there is this other guy, Fritz. He plays brilliantly on the US season, and he's an American. So there are a lot of people, dark horses. Our Corda's son, Sebastian Corda.
Just
Yeah.
There are dark horses who are now going to have their tail up, and hey, I mean, we are there too. So I feel this time the US Open will be really well contested. This is my personal feeling. It won't be as easy. And don't forget that these young guns are actually more comfortable on a bouncier hard court than they are on a slick and slippery grass court. So there'll be much closer matches than in Wimbledon.
Yeah, and the night atmosphere and the overall appeal of the US Open is pretty cool, with especially the US players upcoming, and obviously there are build-up tournaments to that. So it should be fun. But for our viewers, what did you think? So did you support Alcaraz or Djokovic? Who was your favorite? Do let us know in the comments below. Also, how did you like this episode? If you have any opinions, if you want us to cover something else, do let us know that. Thanks so much for watching, and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.